Challenger means innovation. So when we talk to challengers and challengers talk to us, interestingly, the word innovation is rarely bantered about. Why? Because it's synonymous with it. So their word for innovation is either challenger or curiosity. They have to innovate in everything that they do. So they don't have separate innovation departments. They don't have a separate innovation function or process. Why? Because they demand it of everyone in every part of the organization. And the thing that fuels that innovation is curiosity. I saw on somebody's little bio thing there that was flashing while you guys were all out to lunch, somebody said, you know, I wish I could think like a child without the consequences. You have that kind of curiosity within your organization. Challengers tap into that intelligent naivete systematically to drive innovation in their organization with a real purpose. And that purpose is to rewrite the rules of the game, or perhaps even change the game entirely so that it disproportionately advantages them. And if the case may be that they need to go up against the big guy and they do have to pick a fight from time to time, it's still the curiosity that will show them the way of how they're going to fight that fight. Get the stone and not the sword, and that's how you topple Goliath, comes from that sense of innate curiosity. So, if we just take the definition of challenger as a starting point, if I think about your organization, the questions that it begs for me in your quest to win the world over is, do you have a bold ambition that you have set for yourself? That everybody in the room clearly understands and can repeat without fail? Are you pushing yourself every day? Do you feel like we never rest on the status quo? I had a chance to walk this morning and I saw some of the boards that were up in the room celebrating the successes of your USB device. Fantastic story. Challengers, unfortunately, or however you might want to see it, fortunately or unfortunately, look at that and say, let's celebrate our successes and what next? So I think you guys spent some time this morning with the panel of experts and some of the innovation pipeline you have going, talking about what's next. So that's what I mean by pushing yourself. Are you really working harder than the competition? And this is probably the hardest one to get your head around, because a lot of companies say, I can't imagine working harder. I mean, I'm working harder than I ever have in my day before. But if the answer to you feels like intuitively, yeah, I'm working harder than they are, my question to you is, how do you know? How do you know? And one of the ways to know is to actually go out and spend some time with the competition. So go follow your competition around, see what they're doing. Get a sense of what they're doing and how you can do it a little bit better. And my one question as it relates to your innovation is, do you feel like your innovation is really rewriting the rules of the game so that in some way it's going to disproportionately advantage you? Or better yet, change the game entirely? Outsider opinion of one, I've seen little glimpses of it at the workshop we did with you guys in October and that you put on display here in the room. There's some cool stuff in there that I think could truly, truly be game changers for you guys. So I see some evidence of challenger in you guys. One of the things that I typically do at this time is just point out that challenger can mean a lot more than just picking a fight, because oftentimes when people come in with the preconception that if I'm not number one, you know, I'm a challenger and I'm taking on the big guy, well then therefore I must be locked in a David versus Goliath battle and I have to pick a fight. No, actually, it could be about that, but it could also be about changing the rules of the game or changing the game entirely, as some of these challengers on this page have done. So I would argue to you that Altoids is still fundamentally in the convections category, in the mint category, but they have changed the rules of the game to make it a lifestyle accessory, and that was what was instrumental to their success. Or Lush, you can't find them in a grocery store or in a department store along with the other cosmetics. Why? Because they've created an entirely new world and universe called fresh, handmade cosmetics. They created an entirely new game that everybody else is clamoring to catch up with.